All right, man. So this question says, when I say I feel lazy, what's actually happening? Fear, overwhelm, or perfectionism? Um, so all three play a role for sure. Um, I do notice that when I tend to feel lazy, I don't always do something about it. But there's a lot of things that I still need to uncover internally because there are things that I fear, but I haven't faced them. There's reasons why I feel overwhelmed, and I feel like there's nothing I can do about it usually. And the perfectionism is something that we might not always be aware of, but it's important to know how to stay grounded in certain situations because you don't want to over explain yourself or act like you're too good, or just the list goes on with perfectionism. But yeah, I think it's really about trying to uncover those things. Um, but when you feel lazy, when I feel lazy, I feel like the first thing I should do is do something. And I think it's been hard for me to balance out what matters and what's important with like free time and just relaxation. Um, but when it comes to fears, I obviously usually think about like performing, and because I make music, I think about how I fear being seen by a lot of people, even though I don't know what that's like yet. And I fear doing the interview, doing the content, meeting someone that's an artist that I don't know yet, or things like that. But what I need to think is like, that's on hold. But I think the overwhelming part comes into play now because, I think, at least for me, when I feel overwhelmed, it's because the moment is like too much or just something like that. Like it just feels off, or I'm not ready, or there's just something going on that feels off. And so I personally think that if you can feel grounded, you can be more confident in situations so that you at least try to face your fears, at least at a smaller scale, which can ultimately diminish the fear, and you can do the things you've been afraid of, like for me, like going on stage. Um, so if you don't want to feel overwhelmed and things like that, it's really about, I think it's about growing, learning, staying focused on the right things, using your time wisely. And these are common things that a lot of us know. But, you know, growing is something that you have to focus on from time to time, but you have to get to a point where you can actually see that growth being shaped and molded into a brand new you. Like it's got to help you get to the brand new you. Um, but on the flip side, there's perfectionism, because sometimes we do want to be perfect even though we think that we're not perfect. And that can make you overthink or just not truly be your authentic self. I think that when you're grounded and you're firm with who you are, like, and you act as you truly are, you're not like, you know, it's the moment isn't too much and it's not enough, and you don't need to speak a lot and be front and center and say the best thing and things like that. um you just kind of chill and like let things happen and take their course, and you're in the circle of people, and you're not trying to fit in, you're not trying to stand out either, obviously. But I'm thinking about well, I mean, I'm talking about like feeling lazy, and but I'm just thinking, I guess I'm thinking about like overcoming fears and not feeling overwhelmed to overcome the fear, and not being a perfectionist so that you're chill about overcoming that fear, if that makes sense. Kind of confused me a little bit because, you know, these are three things that have to do with being lazy. But I talked about fear first, and then I just started thinking about fears. Although, or overall, I think this was interesting, so I might post it. But yeah, it's just some food for thought. You don't have to take it all the way if you don't want to, but I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. So, yeah.